because this is 3A plus or 4A. I don't know what it is. Anyway, that was I think that was Mace. I'm a hustler, putting it together. That's gonna be our theme song, right? Because this is a high school hustlers framework and form. It is actually 5 o'clock, and we have what's called a number 2, which means we start on time and we end on time. I'm so grateful for the people who are in the room right now. And if you can, or if you prefer, it's up to you, it's your prerogative, share your screen, because this is all a part of an interactive connectivity that we have with each other. Some things that we're getting ready to do and go over that's going to be beneficial to everybody concerned. We will, normally we wait till about 5:07 for the stragglers to get into the room. But in the meantime, in between time, I just want to kind of set the stage and acquaint you with what's getting ready to take place in the context of this session. I'm Robert Nelson. I'm the Director of Entrepreneurship for the My Brother's Keeper Initiative. And what we've been doing is we actually have received a grant from the Rainwater Foundation in order to be able to provide $2,500 for 10. It could be an individual participant. It could be a group of participants. You don't have to be by yourself in the equation, but we're going to do 10 awards for people who've shown outstanding achievement in the space of developing a business plan and developing a business idea that you want to pursue. The reason for today's session is because we're moving through this process rapidly. We started at the beginning of the school year. Our end date, when we finalize the contest winners, will be at the end of April, beginning of May. So based on the timeline that we have, what I've done, I've gone into the system and taken a look and saw who are the actual hustlers that's doing the work, who's actually going after it. And I want to commend you and acknowledge the things that you're doing, because you need to be commended. The fact that you have taken the steps necessary to come to this place of the equation gives you access to unique opportunity that none of the other students inside of the Fort Worth Independent School District are getting access to. I also want to acknowledge that I'm actually recording this session. So if that's okay with you, let me know. If it's not okay, let me know that too. But the reality is that we're recording this session, myself and Nathan Gardner, who is our guest celebrity host today, will be using some of this content in the context of some trainings going forward, because the information that he's going to share with you, some of the questions that you may have, some of the concerns that you may have, are going to be vitally beneficial to some of the other students that come into this program after you go through the program. So what we're doing is we're establishing an archive of information that's not just going to benefit yourselves, but also going to benefit a multitude of other students that come to the table. Congratulations. We've got Kendrick in the house. Onisimo Torres in the house. We've got Gyro in the house. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Kendrick, yeah, I don't think your boy Tatum is going to make it, Kendrick. His dad said he had practice or something like that, but that's all good. But before we get started with this process, one of the things that we do with My Brother's Keeper or My Sister's Keeper is we do a one-word check-in. So since we still within that 7-minute time frame, I'm trying to give some other people some time to get on the line. I want to open up the floor for a one-word check-in, and I will start by giving my name and my one word to tell you how I feel at this point in time. I'm Robert Nelson. I'm stoked. I'm gonna tell you, I'm stoked because several things that have been happening as it relates to what I've been doing with Nathan are unfolding. So we got other cities that's coming to the table that want to be able to engage in what you guys are getting engaged in. So you are the beta testers. You are the pilot program. So what you do is going to set the bar for a lot of other people that want to play this game. And I'm going to pass that over to Nathan Gardner. Nathan, give me your name and your one word to tell us how you feel today.
Well, my name is Nathan Gardner, and I would say my one word is going to be, well, you already took one of them, Robert. I was going to say stoked as well, but, I'm definitely excited for sure. I'm very excited to meet a lot of you, and I'm looking forward to getting forward with the Zoom call.
Okay. I'm going to pass it on to, let me go to Samson Nelson.
My bad, I had my thing muted. I'm Samson Nelson. My word would be hungry. I'm hungry to learn whatever y'all are finna show us right now.
And in case you don't know, that's actually my son, but
yeah, we're related if you can't see the resemblance.
I'm going to Michaela Cook. Give us your one word, Michaela.
My one word, well, my name is Michaela Cook, and my one word is bursting with energy.
Energy, bursting with energy. Okay. I'm gonna move over to Kendrick.
My name is Kendrick, and I feel great.
Great is good. Now, I think it's Yasmin. Am I saying that right? I don't know how to pronounce your name, but your name is not on the display. It says MBK semifinalist Zoom session. So what's your name? It's the young lady that gave me the video. What's your name? You got to unmute. Yeah.
Yeseli.
How you pronounce your name?
Yeseli.
Yeseli. Okay.
Yes.
So give us your one word to tell us how you feel.
I'm feeling grateful right now.
Feeling grateful. I'm going to pass that down to Levon.
Okay, my name is Le'Veon Gillen, and I'm feeling very curious right now.
Curious.
Yes, sir.
And Veronica. I'm going to pass it over to Veronica.
My name is Veronica Meza, and I am very passionate.
Love it. Love it. I got Lucifer. I don't know. What's it down there? I got Lucifer in the house. Kaylin.
My name's Callie Nadikari, and I'm feeling enthusiastic.
Excellent. Love it. Love it. Love it. Got Onisimo Torres on the line.
Hello, my name is Onesimo Torres, and my one word is splendid.
Splendid. Did I do Hyro? Did I cover Hyro?
No, you haven't.
Go ahead, Hyro.
All right. My name is Hyro, and I feel grateful.
Grateful. Perfect. Okay. So what we're going to do, first of all, I want to establish some basic housekeeping so that you know exactly what to expect as we go forward through this process. Nathan and I are going to share some information with you. What I'm going to ask is that you mute your mics as we begin this process. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can feel free to type those in the chat as we're going forth. As we move through some of the basic information, we're actually going to open up the floor for questions, comments, and concerns so that you can actually be engaged in some dialogue. But what we don't want to do is derail the process as we begin moving forward through this. So with that said, I think it is right about 7 after, so it's time for us to get started. I don't know whether other people are. I do know it's probably been maybe about 25 people who were invited to this process, but it's okay. We'll tell you why. Because there's only 10 awards going to be given away. It's only 10. But what I did was I just stopped to acknowledge the fact that some people who had actually taken the basic fundamental steps that were requested, i.e. going to the website, not FWMBK, everybody is a part of MBK, but going to mbkcontest.com, following the instructions that you receive, going to the mbkacademy.com, and starting to take the courses. Now, I want, first of all, let me just say thank you that you actually took that step. But there's so much more that you're getting ready to get as a result of being a part of this process that was not conveyed either in the class sessions nor in any of the information that I shared with the audience. And there's a reason for that. That's because we provide a filter. So I can put something on the table for everybody. But the reality is that it's only a certain selected group of people that are actually going to take the steps necessary that demonstrate that they have the character and the determination to become successful. What I do in my work and in my space is I'm not going to waste a lot of time fooling with folks that don't really want to go there. I mean, I'll give them information, and I'm not trying to be prejudiced, but I am to some degree. I'll give everybody information, but I'm only going to go dig deep with those that are committed to the process. I have jewels, information of treasure, of great value. I do not cast my pearls among swine. Let me just say that. There's no swine in this room. The people in this room are people who have proved that they're really out to get it. And I really want to commend you for taking that step. So in saying that, I'm going to walk you through what the expectations are going to be for our setup today. First, those instructions about, just muting your mic. And then this is why we're present, because you've demonstrated some personal initiative to be in this room today. The next, why we here, we're going to be clarifying what are going to be your next steps that you need to take moving forward with this process. And I want to stop and pause and to acknowledge a couple of people who are in the room that have actually taken those steps. That is Michaela Cook and Veronica Meza. I want you to send me, I'm gonna put my number in the chat. I need you to send me your Cash App because this process is to be remunerated. Put my number in the chat.
That's funny. I don't have Cash App, but
You got Zelle? You got Zelle?
I'll figure it out.
Not a problem. If I have to bring it to you, I will bring it to you. We will get it done.
Okay.
Also, I want Yasmin. What's pronounce your name again for me?
You can call me Yassi.
Yassi, I need you to
Yeah.
send me your Cash App as well. If you don't have one, I had to make a bus stop with you as well.
Yeah, I don't
But I
have
need the
one.
three of you to send me your Cash App because what I've done is I've acknowledged Michaela and Veronica actually took all of the courses that are inside of the MBK Academy. So I'm saying this to the rest of you that are in this room that are part of this process. Dude, sister, I don't care whether you play the thing and scroll Facebook or Instagram in the background. Get it done. This is one of the fundamental steps. Now, there's some information. When I go through those trainings, I deal with three very specific things. I give you one basic business concept. I show you one real life example. These are real people who are actually young entrepreneurs that are achieving amazing success. Several of them have asked to come to the table, just like Nathan, to share some information with you directly. And three, I give you one specific exercise, some task that you can perform to develop your strength in this space. That's a real simple thing. I call it the power of one. So I want you all to go through that process. This does a couple of things. One, it demonstrates to us that you're really serious about the process. But two, it enables us to demonstrate to our stakeholders that we have young people that are interested in entrepreneurship. So that gives us access to additional funding. The money that I'm giving away, I'm not paying for this. The Rainwater Foundation gave us this money. So we got other people who want to give us money, but they want to see, are there young people that are interested in this topic? And are they actually taking aggressive steps? And does your program actually teach them something that is lasting and sustainable to create change? So you help us to demonstrate to our stakeholders so that we can get more resources to bring to the table for you, if that makes sense. So step one, steps going forward, all of you need to complete all of the entrepreneurship program course steps. There are a lot of information inside of the academy. You don't have to take all of that. There are a lot of things that we do with MBK and MSK. You don't have to do all of that. You have to be registered with MBK, but you don't have to do every assignment, every task, every community event. That is not required for you to win this money in this entrepreneurship competition. So with that said, let me keep moving. Next, what are the opportunities? Okay, one of the opportunities, and I'm gonna turn Nathan loose. I'm trying to hold him down right now because you don't know this guy. When he get loose, he's dangerous. But Nathan has offered to put an opportunity on the table for you that was not even available when we first started this process. And Nathan is a good friend of mine, and I've known him for years. The reason why Nathan came to the table is because as I was in the process of developing the platform that we're going to use to provide you with your final contest prize, I said, well, what is the best digital framework to use in this space? What can be used to help young entrepreneurs that are trying to put a product or service in the market that can be most cost effective and can give them the greatest bang for our buck? Nathan gave me this recommendation because Nathan is an Amazon super seller. And when Nathan explained to me the process and the importance of leveraging the Amazon platform for marketing any product or service that you can imagine, it blew my mind. Matter of fact, I had Christian Pollard at the meeting as well, who is one of our MBK staff members and a MBK alumni. So it blew his mind as well. So Nathan has offered to bring this kind of knowledge to the table to show you exactly how we're going to empower you with the ability. Now keep this in mind. We're talking about making a cash register ring. We ain't talking about creating theory. We're not talking about you just learning concept. We're not talking about you just doing a commercial. We're talking about your cash register ringing and money being deposited into your account. Now, if you don't have an account, we're going to have to fix that. But the point is, we talk about you getting paid. Next, I want to take what we're going to go through. With that said, I'm going to introduce Nathan, who he is. Well, let me help to set the stage. This dude sold a business for $2 million at the age of 16. I think I met him when he was 17, right?
Yeah, right around 17.
And he was attending a $1 million mastermind network. Multimillionaires were at this event. And this young guy walks up and like, what are you doing here, man? But he was serious about his business. He was doing some serious business. Him and some of his peers were doing some things in this space. And I didn't know at the time that it was what he was doing with the Amazon framework, because he's had several businesses since the age of 8, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, Nathan?
Correct. Yep, that is correct.
This dude been doing business at the age of 8. And when I started talking to him about helping our MBK and MSK network to find out the ways and means by which they can be more successful in business, he offered to bring some information to the table. And with that said, I'm gonna pass it to Nathan initially so you can give us your backstory and tell us how this fits into the scope of what we're doing here with this high school hustler scenario.
Yeah, so just to let you all know, my name is Nathan Gardner. I know I haven't met you all, in a physical standpoint, but it's good to see you all on Zoom call today. Just to give you a brief background of who I am, I grew up in the DFW area, as many of you all might have as well. And I started my first business when I was 8 years old, and it was a mowing business, which I kept, I believe, till I was 18 years old. I sold it at 18, I think it was. In the mowing business, we started with just 3 clients when I first started out, and then we briefly and quickly grew it to over 30 clients mowed weekly, which generated a lot of cash flow. Once the mowing business kept going, I looked at a lot of other ways to make money because I was always trying to find ways to essentially make my money work for me. That's a phrase my dad always used, as he's a financial advisor. So he always said, make your money work for you. So you have to work less hard. So I always found ways to make my money work for me. And the instance I came up with next was my own business I did through a program called YEA, which is Young Entrepreneurs Association. And Young Entrepreneurs Association is very similar to what MBK does, and is it teaches young students a little bit about what becoming an entrepreneur is and how to get those steps of learning the basic business information. And I was able to gain a lot of good information through YEA, and I eventually started my business through that program called T-Drive. T-Drive was a business Robert was referring to earlier, and that's a business I sold around 16 or 17 years old for a good portion of money. And what that product was is an automatic golf ball dispenser, and it dispensed the golf ball on the tee for you, and it was primarily sold to business applications or to golf ranges themselves or golf courses as well. So that's kind of that second business that I started. And then more recently, we've been focusing on Amazon selling. And I started Amazon selling about 6 years ago, coming up on my 7th year soon. And Amazon selling, I found out that there's a huge opportunity there and a lot of growth, growth potential there. So I started selling out used books on Amazon, and now I'm selling new wholesale products, many products that you'll find in Walmarts or Targets. I sell on Amazon.com, and it's kind of gotten bigger and bigger from there each year. But I've gone through a variety of businesses, a variety of online and in-person selling, and I've been fortunate to have some success with that as well. And my goal with this program is to, essentially give back to everyone and teach some young students that the opportunities out there. You don't have to be 30 or 40 years old to start your own business. You can have limited knowledges and start your business and really start seeing some cash flow, like Robert was saying.
Now, keep in mind, this dude is still a teenager. He's still a teenager. And one of the things that we have done in this process is Nathan and I have been going through, when we first met, we were actually working with a social media and digital marketing organization. And what we have done is we've decided to capture his message, and the information that he's sharing is giving you the step-by-step process by which you can identify any specific product or service and be able to market it online and make money almost instantaneously, definitely within the first 30 days. But the thought is, I wanted you to share briefly, Nathan, why Amazon is the most ideal platform for young people to begin with. I don't care what their business area of interest or business idea might be. Can you touch on that for a second?
Yeah, so Amazon's probably the biggest opportunity for any young business to start out selling on, or anyone that doesn't even have a business experience at all. I would say Amazon has huge potential over any other business platform like eBay or Shopify, or even just local sales through a brick and mortar store. Amazon, as we talked about briefly with Robert earlier, is that Amazon is a huge platform, and I believe it's close to 50% of US households have a Prime account. So that just goes to show you the scale of Amazon customers, and that's just within the United States. Amazon across the globe also has a huge growth, and the Prime users are continuing to grow yearly. When comparing Amazon to eBay and other online platforms, online marketplaces, Amazon generates around 45% of e-commerce sales in the nation. So it goes to show you Amazon's scale is huge. The opportunity there is huge because you have such a broad audience that you can capture. And if you go onto Amazon's platform, you can search up just about anything and you'll find a product available for sale. So that goes to show you that Amazon truly does have the opportunity there. Now you just need to be able to find those products to sell on Amazon and hopefully get some cash that way.
Now I want to touch on this because he kind of glazed over this. He said over 50% of the US population. We're talking about 112 million people in the United States of America that are on Amazon. So I'm gonna give you this word, and this is one of the things that I teach in my sessions. You don't go fishing in the forest, and you do not go hunting in the sea. When you get ready to sell a product or service, I don't care what it is, you want to go where the audience is the most concentrated. Jeff Bezos is the first or second richest man on planet Earth. The Amazon framework is the largest marketplace within the known universe. Let me say that again. There are no place where there's a greater concentration of people that are actively looking to buy something than on Amazon. So what I do in the context of our session, I open up to you to give you complete flexibility and autonomy to say, I don't care what you want, a product, you want a service you want to sell. Figure out whatever you want. It will be ideal. The ideal scenario is to start moving in a direction that's consistent with your personal interest. So if you're interested in one topic, find products that are in that certain topic or in that niche. We'll show you how to identify the products that are profitable in that equation, how to acquire them and provide them to a market utilizing our framework. One of the advantages about being a part of this process now is because Nathan has over, even though he's a young guy, still a teenager, this boy has over a decade experience doing this. So he's built up a reputation that positions him as an Amazon super seller. So let's say somebody walks off the street and say, you know, I want to be an Amazon seller. Dude, you got about 6 to 8 months of activity to go through to just get positioned where Amazon accepts you as a effective seller in that space. We already have the framework to make that happen. And he's willing to open up the door to allow you to bring products to the market that we can resell, that you can resell and generate a profit in your space. Two things. One, not only are we providing the infrastructure for you to make that happen without you having to create your own account. Two, we're also providing the guidance and direction based on his knowledge of his experience to say, how do we pick which is going to be a winner and avoid those that are going to be losers? Three, for those of you, and this is only available for those that actually win the contest. Now, we're going to give everybody access to the content so that you can take the training and see the things that he's shared. But as far as you being a part of this network that enables you not only to get access to our infrastructure, but if we need to finance the projects that you bring to the table that are noteworthy and that demonstrate that they actually will generate a profit, we can do that for you as well, which means you will not have an out-of-pocket expense to begin to get engaged in this process. That is for the winners of the contest. So keep this in mind. This is a tremendous opportunity. And I, myself, I haven't seen something like this come across my table, and I've been in this business for quite some time. One of the things that I do want you to know is that as we do this beta testing, we're going to continue to work out the kinks. So when you go through the process, if you see any typographical errors, if there's any areas that you're still confused about, or say that, you know what, he explained that, but I didn't understand how that works, we're asking you to give us feedback. Send me, and we'll give you myself and Nathan's information. So you can send us information and say, okay, these are the questions that I still have that are unanswered. These are the things that are great areas for me that I do not understand. Because as we go through this process and we clarify it for you so that a 2-year-old can understand it, that's when we're going to open it up to the rest of the mainstream marketplace, and they will be paying a minimum of $1,000 a piece to have access to this content. That's how valuable this is. So what are some of the steps next required going forward? I told you about taking a course. 2, we're going to start engaging in this process. When you go to, and I'm going to put a link in the chat, when you go to youthenterprise.com, you can register on that site. It'll give you access, immediate access to the training. You can ask any questions that you have. It'll also give you the ability that once you start doing this process, there's a link to a Google form so that when you identify a product, let's say as an example, Nathan, give us an example of a profitable product scenario, something like that you shared with us before that they might find that they can plug into the system.
Well, an example of a product we've primarily sold throughout the years would be vitamins, especially last year. Vitamins were a huge seller that you could buy at Walmart and Target and resell those items back on Amazon.
So let's say you
We
find
actually
a product.
saw,
Go ahead.
yeah, so scanning vitamins at Walmart, we would go to my friend and I, my employee would go to, a bunch of stores and we would scan products throughout, the aisles. We'd be there for hours at a time at sometimes that particular Walmart's. Scan products, we'd find, profitable products and we'd sell those back on Amazon. There's some vitamins that we sold last year alone, just in, I believe it was March or April, I believe it was, that we sold just one specific product that we sourced solely at Walmart's and Targets, sold $20,000 worth of those items. And that was just an example of just one product. There were probably hundreds of different vitamins that we were selling at one point, with on top of the other products we normally sell. So there's tons of products to be made, there's tons of products to be found out there in Walmart's and Targets that are super profitable to buy and resell. A lot of people assume that Amazon has the lowest price. A lot of people don't even go to other sites to check Amazon and do some price checking. But the reality is that there's a lot of money to be made on Amazon's platform. People don't realize that Walmart has, many products that can sell on Amazon and make you $10, $20 profit per unit. So we're essentially throughout this course module is what we want to do is, help you start your own business and start selling on Amazon and showing you what the necessary steps are to become an Amazon seller and how to get some cash flow. It doesn't take a lot of money to start up with, just a few, $100. If you have $100 to start up with, you can find a couple of profitable products at Amazon, at Walmart's and Targets, and you can start selling those products back on Amazon.
Now, let me touch back on what you said. Now, that was $20,000 a month. Is that right?
That is correct. Yep.
20. So we're not talking, we talking $20 a month. Now,
Yep.
this is real. When he first started in the Amazon space, he was generating in his first couple of months $10,000 a month revenue from selling on Amazon. The reason why this is pertinent to you is this: regardless of what your area of interest is or your niche is, you have a product that you can find related to that niche. Give you a perfect example. On this call, we have Hyro. At a session that we conducted a couple of weeks ago, we were talking with Hyro, and Hyro is from the Dunbar High School area. We were talking with Hyro, and Hyro said, you know what, I don't really have an idea about a product, a business that I want to start. And I'm like, Hyro, what are you interested in? What do you like doing? What do you spend your money on? Or what do you spend your parents' money on? And Hyro said, I'm into video games. That's his niche. He liked video games. This dude is a gamer. And when I talked to Nathan that next day, Nathan said games were one of his biggest sellers. So he finds video games. Let's say hypothetically, and I don't really know what video games. I don't remember the last time I bought a video game. I think when my son was a kid, which is 100 years ago, right? So I don't remember the last time I bought a video game. But let's say you got a video game that's selling for $50, and you can buy it for $10, and you can resell it and make $40. Is that not a sweet deal? And you work it in your space. One of the things that Nathan continues to extol and encourage is deal in an area that you already have an interest. A couple of reasons. Why? Because it's not going to be labor for you. It's not going to be tiresome to you. This is something that you're already interested in. Two, you already have a background knowledge base about this topic. Yasmin, Yazzie, am I pronouncing it right? She made mention of a genius concept of being able to take junk, repurpose it, and resell it. I happen to know, and I'm going to give you these links from some initiatives that are already out here, which are supported by the World Trade Organization, of young people. And this was given as a contest, as a challenge to young people who have figured out ways to repurpose things in order to improve the ecology of the planet. They figured out ways to repurpose things, put them into a usable function, and resell it to the market space. These are brilliant ideas. So the thought is that regardless of what your area of interest is, there's some niche for you. So with that said, before we move further, I want to open the floor for a second just to get some input from those that are in the room about what your business concept idea, a product or service that you might be able to bring to the marketplace that you can think of. I want you to share it with us briefly. And I'll let whoever wants to open up first begin. If I need to re-articulate that so that you understood what I said, I'll say it again. Give us an idea of a product that you would like to offer to the marketplace. Any kind of product.
I guess I'll start.
Yes.
Actually, I like the idea that you just mentioned because it kind of ties into the new idea that I came up with. Because I'm me, I already been speaking in different events and stuff, but I wanted to change it to something else. So my idea is basically home gardens, or they can go for apartments. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, home gardens, you said?
Mm-hmm. So home gardens, which will, provide food security. You'll be able to have your own food, even if it's not, providing your full grocery list. It could still supplement what you already have.
Hold that idea. Nathan, I do know this for a fact. I haven't researched it, but I've seen them. I've seen these little home gardening kits on Amazon.
Yeah.
That are products that could be sourced.
Oh yeah.
Is that true?
That is completely true. We actually sell a variety of products in the garden industry right now, and home gardening kits seriously, it's a big one. Especially kits to start out creating your home gardens, whether that be the seeds to start with the plants or just a gardening kit box, things like that. Those sell very big on Amazon. It's definitely a great idea and definitely something you should look into as far as selling on Amazon.
I'm with that. You in.
Yeah.
Next, anybody next? Don't be shy.
Okay. So I'm really big into gaming and stuff. And so when I heard about the Amazon, I really got inspired by that. So I wanted to do something with gaming and selling stuff on Amazon as well.
Right. That's awesome. Gaming is definitely a huge industry on Amazon. Robert briefly touched base on it. What I started out on Amazon is when I first started, I started in November timeframe. And that's when I got really the Black Friday sales. And I knew a little bit about electronics and a little bit about gaming. And what I first looked into was video games during the Black Friday sales. And that's kind of how I got my start on Amazon as far as branching off away from books. I was selling video games and computers and things like that. And to this day, I still sell a ton of video games. We have a couple of contracts with some people that we sell video games throughout on a yearly basis, not just Black Friday sales anymore. But it's definitely, if you're inspired by video games and you enjoy video games, definitely is a ton of money to be made in the Amazon space with video games and computer gaming and things like that.
Beautiful, man. You are in, man. You and Hyro, you need to say something, man, because your boy is going to put you out of the gaming space if you don't start acting, because he's serious, man. I know LeVon is not playing. Hyro, say something, man.
Yes.
Tell us about your gaming interests.
I mean, it's basically like what he said. I have the same interests as well. And it really inspires me as well.
So we
something I'd like to take initiative.
We making tag team that deal. We making tag team it if we have to, but that you may have a certain different niche of games that you're interested in than LeVon. I don't know, but we definitely are going in that direction because Nathan already is selling stuff, and he's modest. He's not going to tell you how much money he bringing down with the gaming piece, but I know he's killing it in that space. He's killing that space. Anybody else?
I think the fitness industry would also be pretty nice, like compression gears. I know they're a big thing right now. Also, like fitness wear, like athletic wears would also be pretty profitable, I think.
Go back, compression gear. What is compression gear?
So they're like compression socks, compression like sleeves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fitness industry is huge, especially with COVID. It just weights themselves created a huge opportunity because a lot of the gyms closed. Less so in Texas, but more so up north. And having, fitness gear on Amazon or fitness equipment really became a huge seller on Amazon throughout COVID and the COVID timeframe. And we really kind of stopped selling them now. But we sold a ton of weights. Power Block, which is a huge weight manufacturer, they sell, adjustable weight sizes. We sold tons of Power Block weights and dumbbells, and that's a great way to get started on Amazon as well. And if I believe there's still plenty of money to be made with Power Block themselves, so that's definitely a product to check out. Buying on Walmart.com and reselling on Amazon. There's a freebie.
Also, I wanted to ask Oni, because I know Oni is into that fitness, and I don't know to what degree he's into it. But Oni, can you share something about maybe a product or some concept that you have that you may want to bring to the market that we can help with this process?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you just got my head spinning. I mean, just thinking of, different products that you could resell, and just listening. I'm just really interested in just learning the concept behind it all. First, but I mean, definitely, right now I can't really. I mean, with the weights and all that, I agree. Selling those. But yeah, and also with COVID and all, you notice a lot of people creating their own brand and stuff. I've noticed that a lot of young entrepreneurs have their own like athletic gear and athletic brands, and I think marketing those on Amazon would be pretty cool as well.
Now, I need to say something about this whole COVID thing, because this is something that Nathan and I were talking about right before we got on this call. I don't know whether or not you realize this, but this pandemic that started last year has pushed the entire population of planet Earth to doing more business online than ever in the history of humanity. So if you're positioning yourself and you're trying to find a brick and mortar store out on the corner for some corner storefront, it's not the same as it used to be. The entire population of the planet has started to recognize that if we don't be able to communicate and do transactions online, we may be left out of a loop. So everybody is migrated into this space. The fact that we're having this session virtually right now is consistent and indigenous with everything that is happening with this whole transition. Most of you that are in schools understand the phenomenon that where you used to go into a classroom and get instructed by a teacher in real time, now a lot of y'all are going online and doing classes and sessions online. So business has not stopped. It's just that the way that people do business has shifted. If you are astute enough to understand how to get in front of this curve, because this train ain't gonna stop running. It just got started. So now is a perfect opportunity. Nathan, can you speak to that for a minute? Because talk briefly about that before.
Well, just a brief question. I mean, how many of y'all shop online or shop on Amazon or another platform to buy either items for yourself or clothes or even food nowadays? Anyone utilize those? Yeah, a lot of people probably do. I know. I mean, I definitely do. I shop on Amazon probably too much myself. Amazon's a unique marketplace in the fact that they've got the framework for people to start selling, products on itself. eBay and a couple other platforms are great platforms to start on as well, but Amazon's unique in the fact that it has such a broad base of customers. And we're talking, as Robert said earlier, it's got 112 Prime users, or 112 million Prime users. Those are people that are paying for subscriptions to, just use Amazon on a daily basis or even a monthly basis. So that goes to show the broad audience that Amazon itself has. Now, my goal with Amazon and how I got started and saw the opportunity on Amazon was, well, hey, if I know there's 50% of the US population buys on Amazon, how can I capture some of that market? And from there, I started selling used books, and it kind of branched off into a variety of products. But as Robert was saying earlier, you start with a product that you have a good knowledge base about. As some of you were saying earlier, gaming or fitness products or even garden products. If you know the product and you have some sort of idea of what these products, some sort of base knowledge of, hey, this one might sell better than this one, then that's a great product to start going into stores and start using our techniques to see if this product is actually going to sell on Amazon well. And that's where I got started. I started selling, used books. I'm not really a big book person, but that's a great way to, start selling and making some money as well. And then I started looking into areas that I actually had some knowledge about, and some of that was the gaming aspect, some of that was golfing industry. So it really just depends on the industry you understand best. But by branching off and going to some stores and understanding the products and having that base knowledge, you can go and find some profitable products. It's going to take a lot of work. I mean, Robert and I aren't here to just make it sound like it's going to be easy. Sure, my first month selling on Amazon, we did probably $5,000 to $10,000 selling on Amazon. That wasn't something that I was expecting. I was expecting probably less than $1,000 selling on Amazon. But it's definitely attainable if you're willing to put in the work. And I hope that, since the fact that you guys showed up on the Zoom call willing to learn, shows the fact that, you're willing to put in the work to make some money. But, part of the fun on Amazon is you get to go out and shop, hopefully in things that you like to buy and resell and make some money. So you really start to get engaged once you start to see the potential when you start going into stores and scanning those products and seeing the profit that you could be making. And soon enough, hopefully some of y'all will be selling on Amazon, making some money within a monthly basis. Hopefully even 10,000 in your first month. If we can get you there, that'd be awesome.
And we go in that direction. I'm gonna give you a bit of background for a second. Okay, so Nathan, if you have not noticed, is a white guy, right? When I sat down with Nathan, I'm like, Nathan, I'm doing this project for MBK. Now, MBK, MSK is really designed to help young people of color, male and female, transition from one life stage to another. And I asked him the question. I'm like, dude, I'm just being frank with you. I'm trying to cater to the needs of this specific audience, this demographic, because young men and women of color need some help. Nathan is not a prejudiced dude. He said, I want to help all young people, right? So I'm embracing everything that he's saying, and he's sharing it, knowing that our audience is very specific. But this is not stopping with us. This is only the beginning here. This is only a pilot of what we can do in order to create opportunities for other people. I don't care any race, creed, or color. But young people need to have a reason and a method by which they can survive. And we'll tell you why this is important. And I'm taking it from the background of our cultural experience. When we got out of slavery back in 1865, the first step was to become sharecroppers. And I'm just speaking to the African-American culture. As sharecroppers, we were still poor, but we was free to be poor. So it wasn't much different from slavery, but the idea was we was sharecropping, we was free. From then, we went to what was called the Renaissance or the labor force. So a lot of people migrated to the North to get jobs. And that's when you have like the Harlem Renaissance, a lot of people who blew up in the music, entertainment industry. Those are where our jobs, our income, and our employment came from during that era. That was the next 50 years. After that, they moved to what is called the corporate ladder. So many people of color, Black and Latino, we would take entry-level jobs at a company, major corporation like Microsoft or ATM, ATT, or whoever, and we would work our way up the corporate ladder until we became a VP or a president or whatever. But that was the trajectory of how we made a living. In 2010, something happened that dramatically changed the way that our income is going to happen going forward. And that was AI, artificial intelligence. When artificial intelligence was brought to the table, not only did it displace a lot of us who are the first fired and the last hired in the first place, but it's also displacing the rest of the major population. So when you look at Amazon, a large percentage of the activity that you do on Amazon is done by automation. There are robots that move this stuff back and forth. If you don't know how to work the robots, you can't even get a job at some of them places. They're getting ready to do self-driving cars and trucks. This is real. I'm not making this stuff up. So the point I'm making to you is that if we as a generation of people do not understand how to use the marketplace to let the robots work for us, we will not have an opportunity for employment, because it's not the way it used to be. It ain't about just going to school, getting an education, getting a good job, and living happily doggone it ever after. That's not real no more. So this is a real opportunity for you to start getting in position where you can leverage your own creativity and use the robots to work for you to make your livelihood happen. Now, something Nathan touched on that he did not dig into, and we will go into further, is that he talked about scanning items. We actually have a piece of software that we're going to give you access to where you can go out and you can scan items. You don't have to have an Amazon seller account. You can use our Amazon seller account. You can scan items and identify which of the items that you scan and whatever niche you're looking at are actually potentially profitable for you or not profitable. We will give you the specific guidance so that you know what metrics to measure by to determine whether this is a good deal or it's not a good deal. We're also going to give you access to a link so that when you find a good deal, shoot it to us. We'll acquire it, we'll remarket it, and you will make money. That is what this whole conversation is about, starting to get you engaged in the process. Now, Nathan and I actually did quite a bit of research before we could find a tool that was free I mean, it's not free. I'm paying for it, but you get to use it for free. Something that would not cost you money that you can use and find out where you can find profitable, potentially profitable products that you can bring to the youth enterprise table, and we can help you market, generate revenue, and make a profit. Does that sound like something that would be of interest to you? I'm just asking. I'm just putting the question out.
Yes.
That's where we at, man. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna type in the chat, and I know we coming up on 45 minutes in this equation, and I want to still make sure that I open up to give significant time for question and answers. But I'm gonna type in the chat right now one of the first steps that you can take in order to get engaged with Nathan in this process. Now, he and I over the last 2 months have recorded what, 5 different modules, Nathan? Is that about right?
Yep, about 5 or 6, right around there.
And he's just walking through it based on his knowledge of how he knows the process is. How do you evaluate the Amazon ranking system? How do you determine whether or not there's competition in the market that would make this not a good opportunity for you? How do you determine whether or not the ratings on a product indicate that you should buy it or not buy it? All of these things that he's learned over a decade of experience, he's sharing in these modules, and you have access to it now for free. So everybody that's a part of this equation can access it for free. The ones that win the contest will get access to this relationship for free on an ongoing basis. So I encourage you to make sure you finish out taking the steps that you need to take to win this contest. And most of y'all that's in the room have actually demonstrated you serious about it anyway. So I don't really have no question or doubt in my mind. I am available to you. You have my email address. You have my phone number. That's my cell phone number. You can send me a text. I'm available to you. I am not available to everybody. I just want y'all to know this. Some people can't talk to Robert Nelson. Ask my son, he'll tell you. Some people can't talk to Robert Nelson. I'm serious. But I'm opening this door for you because I really want y'all to succeed, because when you succeed, that means our program is succeeding, which means we have an impact. We're making a difference. We're creating a change. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to open back up the floor to Nathan while I type in the chat the website that you go to, which is youthenterprise.com, in order to access the training that we've already recorded with him. And we're going to be adding some additional modules in the time to come. This is actually going to be one of the modules, because we're talking about some real stuff in the context of this session. Go ahead, Nathan. I'm going to let you take it while I type.
Yeah, so as Robert was saying earlier, we're continuing to add modules within the course, and that's really going to provide you more and more knowledge as we continue to go. If you actually log on to the website now, you'll see, I think there's 5 course or modules uploaded right now. And those modules are going to give you a base understanding of how to start selling on Amazon. And essentially, it's going to be a dialogue between Robert and I on the base steps of how to start understanding the basic information of selling on Amazon, and then utilizing those steps to help you make some money on Amazon. But right now, if you go on the website and you actually look at the information and start watching those modules, you will be able to find some profitable products to resell back onto Walmart or Target, back onto Amazon, buying from Walmart or different stores online or in store itself. And the course modules will walk you through everything on how to do that. But as Robert said earlier, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Robert. My information can be given to you all as well. So if anyone has questions, feel free to text or call me as well. Because we truly want to help you all start selling on Amazon. And we think there's a great opportunity out there for young students to be able to start selling on Amazon. And just me teaching my friends myself. There's a lot of opportunity for them out there, and people have started selling based off of what I've taught them before as well. So there's tons of opportunity to start selling on Amazon. The course module is going to walk you through how to start learning those base steps and how to actually start selling and start understanding the base information. But if you guys have any questions for me right now, feel free to unmute and ask me questions.
Nobody got questions. You know, this is what Robert Nelson say. When you don't have questions, that means you know everything. I got a question, right? So my question is, can you tell us what was the name of that software that they're going to download on the app where they're going to use to scan? Because we'll give you the keys. We'll give you the keys so that you can be able to access our account.
Most people have access to it, and Robert will be able to provide you with the actual login information to be able to utilize our account for it. But the app that you're going to be downloading is called Scoutify. And it's going to be a white and blue app. It'll look like a barcode on the app's actual image.
I'm gonna type it. I'm gonna type it in chat. Scoutify.
Yeah, Scoutify by A Seller Tool. And that's going to be able to provide you with the, the fundamentals of how we're going to start scanning products in stores and finding those products to resell back onto Amazon.com. But go ahead and download that app when you get a chance, and Robert will go ahead and send it out to you. But if you go on the App Store, it's going to look like, at least for the iPhone, for me, it's going to be like a blue and white app with a it looks like a barcode, a white barcode. But go ahead and download that, and then in the modules, you actually see information of how we're going to utilize that app to make us a lot of money. But that's an app that I've utilized for years now, that my friends and partners have utilized as well, and there's tons of money to be made through that app. So that's going to be probably the key to success on the as far as selling on Amazon, is utilizing that technology right there.
And what's going to happen when you go into this app is going to actually give you a prompt so that if you want to create your own account, you can. But the reality is that if you do that, there's a cost. So I've already paid the cost, so you don't need to do that. I will send you, when you show me that you want to do this, I will send you the username and passcode so you can log into our account and be able to monitor and identify which products are going to be profitable for you in your particular niche. So again, that was Scoutify. I put it in the chat box. It's called Scoutify, a seller tool, and it should be easy for you to find. Everybody got a phone, man. I mean, I was with this dude, and he popped in his car and went to Walmart in the middle of one of our presentations to go and scan products real time and found some profitable products. And we were only on for what, maybe a half an hour?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how simple this process is. Now, as he said, this is not about get rich quick scheme. There's some work involved in this. And the fact that you're in this room means that you ain't scared of work, because you had to do something to get here, right? So the fact that he's opening up this avenue of opportunity, I'm strongly encouraging everybody to take advantage of this, because I know this is going to be the quickest way to you starting to get your cash register to ring. Now, I have something that I'm going to give each of you, which is what I call the Magic Incantation. Let me tell you what the Magic Incantation is. I'm Robert Nelson, right? I wrote this book. It's the greatest sales traded in the world. I know how to sell stuff. And I promise you, I can tell you a couple of sentences that you can say to almost anybody that will make them say to you, yes, I'll buy. And I'm going to give you that. And I don't care what niche you're in. I don't care what product or service that you have to offer. I'm going to show you how to build up an audience of customers and or prospects that will buy from you on an ongoing basis. And this is why this is important. Because if I tell Michaela, or if I tell Gyro, or if I tell Kendrick how to do this, and they all go out and get 10, 20 customers, as a group of people, that gives us access to hundreds of customers. Because Michaela might be selling gardening products. Kendrick might be selling a different product. Gyro might be selling gaming products. The point is, once we have access to this customer base, you can sell whatever you want to sell to that base. And what Nathan is going to show you is not how to get access to a limited base of customers that you're talking to personally, but how to position yourself on Amazon. You may never meet these people, but they already shuffling through the shelves looking for the product that you have to offer. He's going to show you how to put your product in front of that audience and get it sold. Now, with that said, I'm going to ask the question again. Are there any questions?
I don't really have a question as much as I have like not one question. It's like I need a whole conversation. That's what I need.
Listen.
Let's hear it.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess for background, I'm from Jackson, Mississippi, of course. And I don't know if y'all know the situation in Jackson right now, but like, you don't? Okay, so Jackson, it has no water. And the people that do have water is poisonous, basically. And, that's my home. I just came back from Texas, from Jackson, when I went to a funeral down there for my big mama. She passed away recently. And that's why I got the gardening idea from. She has a whole set of plants everywhere. But one of the reasons why I do, I'm here and I'm starting to try to learn more about business and stuff is because I want to be able to go into, I feel like I'm in the more of the nonprofit side of things, because I want to be able to give to people so that they can provide for themselves and then be able to do more with what they've got. And I guess Fort Worth is my training grounds, quote unquote. Yeah. And with the gardening thing, I wanted to do something where it's like, it's a bunch of different ideas. And so I'm telling you, we're gonna need a whole conversation about this because as I was going like through the things, I wrote in this little itty bitty baby book here, but I kept going through everything and writing stuff down, and it just kept more and more popping up. And I've already looked at how some of the competition, I guess you could say, or some people that can help me learn what I need to do for the garden thing, including one HBCU, Paul Quinn College. Like they have a garden. I just forgot the name of it. It just slipped my mind. But they have a garden that they make their own food, and then they also give food out to the community. And then there's other places that do similar stuff. And I want to be able to do that in Fort Worth and basically get ready for other stuff.
Perfect.
So yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, this girl is a genius, man. Nathan, I'm telling you, the girl is a genius. Yeah. But also, I want you to know this. We're so grateful for your contribution. So when you talk about your interest in the nonprofit, I want you to consider this. The program that we run with the My Brother's Keeper, there are two different entities that are involved in that process. One of the entities is called STEP, Strategies to Elevate People. It is a for-profit entity. Some of the context, like the contract that we have with the Fort Worth ISD, is through STEP. But we also have, or Rick has, a nonprofit, which is called Strategies to Elevate People of Color. So it's a 501c3. So it's not like you have to do either or. Sometimes you can do both and. So you can do well while doing well. So you can make money and still give back to the community, because to have a nonprofit doesn't mean you don't make money. All it means when you say nonprofit, that means you're not just lining your pockets and ended up with profit at the end of the fiscal year. So you may make $1 million this year and next year make $2 million, but you might reinvest that million in the community, in your other projects. So you can always continue to grow and scale your business. Doesn't mean you don't make money. It just means that you're not in it only for making money. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Amazon creates an opportunity in that aspect that, sure, Amazon, the structure of the business itself is you're going to be reselling items to make a profit. But what you do with the profits is truly up to yourself and whatever you would like to do. So if you want to create a nonprofit organization, or even just invest your money in and give back to the community in some sort of way through donations, that's something you can definitely do with a profit. It's really just going to be how you want to structure what you do with your profits. Do you want to reinvest them back into the business? Do you want to set aside a portion of all your profits, a percentage like 5 or 10%, to go straight to a charity of your choice? Things like that can definitely help the community. And there's tons of opportunity. Amazon provides ways for you to do automatic donations for your payments. So there's definitely opportunity out there, even though it seems like one of those items where you're selling on Amazon to make money for yourself. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way. And the fact that you are looking into ways to give back to the community at such a young age is awesome.
Yes, that is. And we are coming up on the hour.
So I see we got one question in the chat here, Robert.
In the chat. Let's get that.
They want to know the margin or markup on average for products. So it really depends on the products you buy and the category you're selling the products in. But for example, a big one during Q4 season, which is the fourth quarter of the year, we sell a lot of toys. Toys during the Q4 season can have markups of 50% return on investments all the way up to 100% return on investments. With all the products I sell a little bit different. I don't normally source all my products from Walmarts and Targets anymore. I normally buy them directly from the manufacturer now. So those products normally have a 30% 30% margin or a 35% margin, and around a 50 to 60% return on investment. But it really does depend on the products you're looking for, the industry you're selling the products in. But when you're buying products, what we like to call it as retail arbitrage, where you're going to the physical store and buying those products from Walmart or Target, you're looking about around a 40% margin on a very good product, but sometimes it can get down to 20 to 40% margin. But generally what I use is return on investment because when you take in margin, it has to account for the fact that you have Amazon fees and other related fees. So I typically use return on investment, and I generally look for or aim for a 50% return on investment for all the products I buy. Perfect. So that means in 2 months, your money would double. So start with $100. In 2 months, you're going to be at 200. So you're looking at some increase. What was that?
No, go ahead.
You're looking at continue to be able to reinvest your money back in the business. You're going to see your business grow pretty quick.
That was a good question. And a lot of the things that he's talking about right now, we go over in detail. And the beautiful thing about being able to have this information online is that you can take it at your own pace. You can stop it. You can rewind it. We got bullet points down on it so that you can make sure you pay attention to some of the key issues that are relevant for you to be successful in this space. And as he mentioned, if you have any questions about that, and I'm gonna correct something. I don't want y'all reaching out to Nathan. I'm gonna put Nathan on lock until we get past this contest winners. I'm putting Nathan on lock because I got like 7 other people who are wanting to come to the table to share this information, and I don't want them to be bombarded. And we have not done that yet, but reach out to me and I'm gonna make sure he gets whatever information that he needs. Okay, is that fair enough? Because he got a business that he's running and he's doing this pro bono. I didn't pay him to come to the table. He came to the table because he wanted to come to the table. And the time is money in every businessman's experience. So the fact that he's here, he's invested in you. He's invested in you. He believes in you. He's a proof that's in the pudding that is possible. The question is, do you want to latch on and take the ride? I'm gonna leave with that. Now, I guess it's 6 o'clock. I think we've done our word more check-in, and we're gonna do this right here. Let me see, where's this at? We're gonna close out with that. I'm a hustler. Y'all need to be honest. We here. It's really going down. If there are any other questions, comments, or concerns, let me know, and we will get to it. I want to thank y'all for being on this call, though, seriously. I do thank you for being on this call, taking the time out of your schedule. And I promise you, every one of you that actually articulated something on this call, I'm going to personally follow back up with you with what I heard you say. Now, if you don't know me, you're going to find out I'm a follow-up expert. So I'm going to hold you accountable. If you say you want to do it, I got the tools. We got the players. It's time to play the game. All right. With that said, if there's no other questions, we're going to check out for today. Nathan, thanks so much, sir.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Going online, man. I think this is some good content, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Big opportunity.
All right. I'll let you later. Bye.